Hello students, Sai Baba here. So in this class I am going to discuss the solutions. I am going to start the discussion for solutions of the questions in the assignment in simple harmonic question, starting from question number 31 onwards. So look at the question number 31 on the screen. Three masses 0.1 kg, 0.3 kg and 0.4 kg are suspended at the end of spring. When the 0.4 kg mass is removed, the system oscillates with a period 2 seconds. And the 0.3 kg mass is also removed. The system will oscillate with a period. So the time period of vertical oscillations of a mass m suspended of elastic spring of force constant k is given by 2 point root of m by k. So when the 0.4 kg is removed, the total mass oscillating vertically in the first case will be 0.1 kg plus 0.3 kg. In the second case, the 0.3 kg mass is also removed. So when the 0.3 kg mass is also removed, mass of the oscillating body in second case can be taken as 0.1 kg. So the mass m1 which oscillates vertically in the first case will be 0.1 kg plus 0.3 kg. That means the total mass which oscillates vertically with the spring in the first case will be equal to 0.4 kg. So, but elastic force constant k is the same for given spring. In the first case, the time period is given by t1 equal to 2 point root of m1 by k, which is given to be 2 seconds. So the time period in the second case given by t2 equal to 2 point root of m2 by k. So if you divide t2 with t1, because elastic force constant k is a constant per given spring, that is same in both cases. Root of m2 by m1. Here m2 can be taken as 0.1 kg. m1 equal to 0.4 kg. That is square root of 1 by 4 or t2 by t1. You get 1 by 2. So time period in second case is half of the time period in the first case. Time period in the first case is 2 seconds. So time period in second case will be 1 second. So the answer is 1 second. So if you want to copy the solution, you can take a pause and copy the solution of the problem. So for question number 31, first option is answer. See the next question, question number 32. An object suspended from a spring exhibits oscillations of period t. Now the spring is cut into two halves. Same object is suspended with the two halves in parallel. The new time period of oscillation will become. So the two parts have same force constant. Let I denote the force constant of two parts by K1 and K2. Force constant of original spring by K. So each part differs from original spring only in length. So when two springs differ only in length, as I discussed in one of the special cases earlier, force constant of spring is inversely related to the natural length of spring. The original spring mass system oscillates with the time period denoted by t. So time period of the object when suspended from original spring with force constant K can be written as 2 pi root of m by K. Now the force constant of second part is same as force constant of first part. If you compare force constant of one of the part with force constant of original spring, K1 by K, you can write L by L1. L is the natural length of the original spring, L1 is the natural length of first spring. First part or one of the parts. So length of each part is half of the natural length or unstretched length of first part is half of the natural length of original spring. Therefore, force constant of one of the parts will be 2 times the force constant of original spring. So effective force constant of the combination of the two springs connected in parallel will be sum of the force constant of individual springs. That is 2K plus 2K, that will be 4K. So new time period of oscillations I denoted by T dash. That you can write 2 pi root of m by K effective. So divide the equation 2 with equation 1. T dash by T is equal to root of K by K effective, because mass m is a constant. That is same in both the cases. So K effective in the second case force times the force constant of original spring. So you get T dash by T equal to 1 by 2 or T dash equal to T by 2. So answer is T by 2. So if you want to copy the solution of this question, take a pause and copy the solution of the problem. So for question number 32, second option, third option is answer. For question number 32, third option is answer. Then you see the next question here, 33. Particle at the end of a spring executes simple harmonic motion with a period T1, while the corresponding period for another spring is T2. The two springs are connected to the corresponding period of oscillation. So this actually I have discussed in the combinations of springs. Time period of oscillation, in the first case you can write 2 pi into root of m by K1. So the time period of oscillation of mass m suspended by spring is given by 2 pi root of m by K. You can write 2 pi by omega. Or omega can be written as root of K by m. If you square both sides, you can write K equal m omega square. So when the two springs are connected in series, reciprocal of the effective force constant of the combination, sum of the reciprocals of the individual force constants. So if K is effective force constant of two springs, let K1 denote the force constant of the first spring, and time period in the first case is T1. That means when the mass m is connected to only first spring, it oscillates with the time period T1. When the mass m is connected only to the second spring with another force constant K2, same mass, it oscillates with time period T2. Next, the two springs are connected in series. The two springs connected in series can be treated as one spring of force constant K, which we call effective force constant. The T with the time period, in this case, mass m is same in all the cases. So K1 you can write m omega 1 square. K2 you can write m omega 2 square. K can be written as m omega square. Omega 1 is the angular frequency of oscillation in the first case. Omega 2 is the angular frequency of oscillation in the second case. Omega is the angular frequency of oscillations when the two springs are connected in series. So therefore you get 1 by omega square equal to 1 by omega 1 square plus 1 by omega 2 square. So 1 by omega 1, you can write T1 by 2 pi. 1 by omega 2, you can write T2 by 2 pi. 1 by omega, you can write T by 2 pi. So if you cancel the common factor 1 by 4 pi square, you get T square equal to T1 square plus T2 square, or T equal to root of T1 square plus T2 square. You want to copy the solution of this question, you can take a pause and copy the solution. So for question number 33, second option is the answer. See the question number 34. Particle is executing simple harmonic motion. What fraction of total energy is kinetic? The particle is a distance a by 2 from the mean position. A is the amplitude of oscillations. Assume potential energy equals 0 at mean position. So if the potential energy is 0 at the mean position, total energy of oscillation kinetic half K square. So ratio of the kinetic energy by total energy. That's what is required at the instant when is displacement from mean position. The instant when the displacement from mean position is denoted by y, the kinetic energy can be half K into S square minus y square. And total energy of oscillations is half K S square. And K equal to m omega square here. So here you have to find the value of this ratio at the instant when y equal to a by 2. So ratio of the kinetic energy to the total energy will be a square minus y square, you can write equal to a by 2. So this you can simplify it. Further you can take a pause. If you want to copy the solution to the problem, you can take a pause and copy the solution of this problem. So you get answer as 3 by 4. So for question number 34, first option is the answer. See the question number 35. Particle executes simple harmonic motion between x equal to minus and x equal to plus a. The time taken by it is going from 0 to a by 2 is t1, and from a by 2 to a is t2. Now let O denote the mean position of the particle. And we start counting time when the particle is crossing the mean position in the positive direction. Let E be one of the extreme positions or positive extreme position at which x equal to plus a. Let P be the position of the particle at the instant when it is a distance a by 2 from the mean position. O is the mean position. So as I discussed in the theory part, if you start counting time when the particle is initial at the mean position, moving in the positive direction. So the particle is initial at the mean position, moving in the positive direction. The displacement from mean position at time t can be written as x equal to s omega t. That is, if x equal to 0, at t equal to 0. If x equal to 0 and v is positive, that means the particle particle is moving in the positive direction. At t equal to 0. Then the equation for displacement from mean position calculated x equal to sin omega t. Here at t equal to t1, x is a by 2. So we can substitute x equal to a by 2 on the left side, at t equal to t1 on the right side. So you get sin omega t1 1 by 2. Sin 30 degrees 1 by 2. So 180 degrees is pi radian. So 1 degree is pi by 180 radians. So 30 degrees will be 30 into pi by 180 or pi by 6 radian. That means omega t1 is pi by 6. Omega you can write 2 pi by capital T, where capital T is the time period of oscillations. So you get T1 equal to 1 by 12th of the time period. So the time taken to move from P, the point P to the extreme position is denoted by T2. So the time taken by the particle to move from x equal to 0 to x equal to plus a can be the time taken to move from O to P, that is T1, plus time taken to move from point P to E, T2. So as I discussed in the theory part, when the particle performs linear simple harmonic motion, the time taken by the particle to move from mean position to one of the extreme position is 1/4 of the time period. So you can write T1 plus T2 equal 1/4 of time period. So T1 you can substitute T by 12. So from this you can find T2. So you get T2 equal to T by 6. So if you divide T1 with T2 or T2 with T1, so T2 by T1, T by 6 divided by T by 12, that comes out to be 2. So you get T2 is equal to 2 times T1, or T2 is greater than T1. So if you want to copy down the solution of the problem, you can take a pause and copy down the solution. This question was originally given IIT screening test in 2001. Finish. So you get first option is answer. T1 is not equal to T2. We get T2 is equal to 2 times T1. Therefore, T1 less than T2, first option is answer. Because we have arrived at the conclusion that T2 is 2 times T1. That means T2 is greater than T1 or T1 is less than T2. So first option is answer. So look at the next question, question number 36. The time period of simple pendulum is capital T. When the length is increased by 10 centimeter, its period is T1. When the length is decreased by 10 centimeter, its period is T2. The relation between T1 and T2. The value of acceleration due to gravity at a given place in terms of the length of the pendulum and time period, you can write G equal to 4 pi square L by T square is a constant at a given place. So at a given place, the value of acceleration due to gravity is a constant. So 4 pi square is constant. L by T square is a constant at a given place. So let L be the length of the pendulum when the time period is T. So when the length is equal to L plus 10 centimeters, the time period is t1. When the length is L minus 10 centimeters, the time period is t2. When the length is L, the time period is t. So, but L by t square is constant. That is ratio of the length to the square of the time period is constant. So, denoted by this constant, suppose by k. So, from first and last, you can write L1 plus 10 centimeter equal to KT1 square. From second and last, I mean L plus 10 centimeters. L minus 10 centimeter is equal to KT2 square. From last, you can write L equal to KT square. So, if you add the first and second equations, so L plus 10 centimeter plus L minus 10 centimeter is equal to K into T1 square plus K into T2 square. That is 2L equal to K into T1 square plus T2 square. So K can be written as L by T square on the right side. So 2L into L by T square is equal to T1 square plus T2 square. So you get L gets cancelled both sides. You get 2T square equal to T1 square plus T2 square. So if you want to copy the solution of this question, you can take a pause and copy the solution of the question. So for question number 36, third option is answer. See the question number 37. The body executes simple harmonic motion under the action of force F1. It's a period 4 by 5 seconds. The force is changed to F2. It executes simple harmonic motion with a time period 3 by 5 seconds. Both the force F1 and F2 act simultaneously in the same direction on the body. The time period in seconds is. So the resulting restoring force acting on the body, when both the forces act in the same direction, you can write F1 plus F2. So at the instant when the particle is at a distance y from the mean position, F1 can be done minus K1y. The instant the particle distance y from mean position, the force F2 can be done minus K2y, where K1 is the force constant of oscillations in the first case. When the body performs a system under the action of first force F1. K2 is the force constant of the oscillator when the body performs a system under the action of second force. So let K be the force constant of the oscillation when the body is under the action of both the forces. That means that both the forces you can treat it as one force given by F equal to minus K1 plus K2y or minus Ky. So effective value of the force constant for oscillations can be as K1 plus K2. So for body in simple harmonic motion, you can write K equal M omega square. K can be written as M omega square. So effective constant in the first case, you can write M omega 1 square. K2 can be written as M omega 2 square. K can be written as M omega square. So here omega 1 is the angular frequency of oscillations when the body is under the action of first force F1. Omega 2 is the angular frequency of oscillations when the body is under action of second force F2. Omega is the angular frequency of oscillations for same body of mass M. And the body is under action of both the forces in the same direction. So omega 1 you can write 2 pi by time period in the first case, which are denoted by T1. Omega 2 is a time 2 pi by T2. omega I can write 2 pi by t. So you can divide the equation with 4 pi square. You get 1 by t square equal to 1 by t1 square plus 1 by t2 square. So the time period t1 in the first case is given to be 4 by 5 seconds. So time period second case is given to be 3 by 5 seconds. So 1 by t1 square will be 5 by 4. The second whole square. 1 by t2 you can write 5 by 3 seconds. So 5 square you can take common outside. So you get this as so if you take positive root here, time period you get 12 by 25 seconds is the answer. So if you want to copy the solution of this question, take a pause and copy the solution of this question. So for question number 37, first option is answer. Then see the question number 38. The displacement x and velocity v of a particle executing simple harmonic motion are related through the expression 4v square equal to 25 minus x square. So let us write the expression for v first from the given equation. So 4v square is given to be 25 minus x square. Second, divide the equation with 4. So v square you can write 1 by 4 into 25 minus x square. The magnitude of velocity of a particle in simple harmonic motion is given by omega into root of a square minus x square. If you square both sides, then write v square equal to omega square into s square minus x square. You can compare this equation with this. Left hand side is same. So omega square you get 1 by 4 and a square is 25. So omega is equal to root of 1 by 4 in SI units, let us take, or 1 by 4 root 1 by 4 units or 1 by 2 units. So the time period of oscillation you can write 2 pi by omega or 2 pi into 1 by omega. So 2 pi into so time period will be 4 pi units is the answer. If you want to copy the solution, you can take a pause and copy the solution. So for question number 38, third option is answer. See the question number 39. Point mass oscillates along x-axis according to the law x equal to x naught into cos omega t minus pi by 4. The axillary of the particle is written as small a equal to x capital E into cos omega t plus delta. Then, so the acceleration of the particle in simple harmonic motion can be written as minus omega square root x, where x is the displacement from mean position. So the given equation, you are given x equal to x naught into cos of omega t minus pi by 4. Let us remove that negative sign. So you have cos theta plus pi radians or 180 degrees minus cos theta. That means minus cos theta can be written as cos of theta plus 180 degrees is pi radian. So minus cos omega t minus pi by 4 can be written as omega square into x naught cos of omega t minus pi by 4 plus pi. So the instantaneous acceleration can be written as omega square into x naught omega t plus 3 pi by 4. Compared with this equation, small a equal to this equation, you compare with this equation. So capital A in this equation represents the magnitude of maximum value of acceleration or amplitude of acceleration. Omega square into x naught. And delta equal to 3 pi by 4. So if you want to copy the solution of the problem, you can take a pause and copy the solution of the problem. So for question number 39, third option is answer. See the question number 40. Two springs of force constant K1 and K2 are connected to mass M as shown. The frequency of oscillation of the mass M is F. Both K1 and K2 are made 4 times. The frequency of oscillation would become. This case I have discussed. In one of the special cases, in combination of springs, if the mass M is supposed displaced towards right through some distance and released. The instant when the mass and distance x towards right from this equilibrium position, then the restoring force exerted by first spring will be equal to minus k1x will be directed towards left. Mass compresses the second spring towards right. So reaction force by second spring on the mass. I mean, if the first spring is elongated by distance x towards right, second spring will be compressed by same distance x. So the reaction force exerted by second spring on the mass act toward left side. The elastic force by the first spring also act toward left side. So both the forces act in the same direction. So the restoring force acting on the mass at any instant can be written as F1 plus F2. F1 is minus K1x, F2 is minus K2x, because both the springs will undergo same magnitude of change in the length. First spring is stretched by distance x, for second spring will be compressed by same distance x. So the two springs in practice can be considered one spring of force constant K equal to K1 plus K2. The frequency, the time period of oscillations of mass M at suspended by spring is given by 2 pi root of M by K. The frequency is reciprocal of the time period. Our time period you can write reciprocal of the frequency. So F equal to 1 by 2 pi into root of K by M. That is, K can be written as K1 plus K2. So both the force constant K1 and K2 are made 4 times. Let F dash with the new frequency. That is 1 by 2 pi into root of K1 dash plus K2 dash by M. So F dash by F is root of K1 dash plus K2 dash by K1 plus K2. Both the force constants are made 4 times. That is K1 dash is 4 K1. K2 dash is 4 K2. Can simplify it further. So if you want to copy the solution of the problem, you can take a pause and copy the solution of the problem and complete the calculation yourself. So for question number 40, third option is the answer. See the question number 41. Particle performs simple harmonic motion of time period t and the equation of the motion is given by x equal to s sin omega t plus pi by c. So the lapse of what fraction of time period? The velocity of the particle will be equal to half of its maximum velocity. So maximum velocity is given by omega into a. The velocity of the particle at the instant when it is at distance x from the mean position is given by v equal omega into root of s square of x square. The maximum velocity can write omega into a. Velocity is maximum at the mean position. So you have to find the time after which the velocity becomes equal to half of the maximum velocity. So you have to take v velocity becomes half of the maximum velocity when omega into root of a square minus x square is equal to half of omega into omega will cancel, squaring both sides. S square minus x square is equal to 1 by 4 into a square. This you can simplify. That means velocity becomes equal to half of the maximum value when x equal to a root 3 by 2 plus or minus a root 3 by 2. So we have to find the minimum value of time after which x becomes equal to a root 3 by 2. So the given equation is x equal to a sine omega t plus pi by 6. So you have to find the time after which and x equal to a root 3 by 2. Substitute x equal to a root 3 by 2 on the left side here. A root 3 by 2 equal to a sine omega t plus pi by 6. So sine omega t plus pi by 6 equal to root 3 by 2. As you know, sine 60 degrees is root 3 by 2. That is sine pi by 3 root 3 by 2. So omega t plus pi by 6 is equal to sine pi by 3 or sine 60 degrees. So omega t plus pi by 6 can take pi by 3. So omega t you can write pi by 3 minus pi by 6. So on the left hand side omega you can write 2 pi by time period. So right side you get pi by 6. So you get small t equal to capital T by 12. That means after 1 by 12 of the time period from the initial instant, the velocity of the particle becomes equal to half of the maximum value. So this problem was given originally CBSE CPMT exam, PMT exam, pre-medical test. Now, those who want to copy the solution to the problem, take a pause and copy the solution to the problem. For question number 41, fourth option is answer. See the question number 42. Block P of mass M placed on smooth hard surface. Block Q of same mass placed over the block P and question of static friction between them is US. Spring of spring constant K is attached to block Q. The blocks are displaced together a distance and released. The upper block oscillates without slipping over the lower block. The maximum frictional force between the blocks is. So here you can observe that, you have to observe that spring is connected only to the lower block Q. Spring is not connected to the upper block P. Of course, both the blocks have same mass M. So, the only force acting on the block P in the horizontal direction with respect to the laboratory frame of reference is the force of friction. So, for the block P, the restoring force is equal to static friction, because it is given that the block A does not flip on the block Q. So, there is no relative motion between the two blocks. So, the type of friction that exists between the two blocks is static friction. So, I am applying Newton's second law for block P. For block P at extreme position, the magnitude of the resultant force equal to static friction, that is equal to mass into magnitude of acceleration. Magnitude of acceleration, one of the extreme positions. Omega square into amplitude of oscillations. The two masses oscillate together. So here, therefore, for the combined mass, it oscillates together. The angular frequency omega is same for both the masses. So the time period of oscillation you can write 2 pi root of m by k. That you can write 2 pi by omega. So omega square you can write k by m. Here total mass you can write 2 times the mass of each block. Here mass of the first block P. I mean resultant force on block P in the horizontal direction. I mean with respect to laboratory frame of reference, which is considered to be inertial frame. The resultant force of block P in the horizontal direction is equal to force of static friction block P by block Q. The only force which acts on the block P in the horizontal direction is static friction on block P by Q. From Newton's second law, that should be equal to product of the mass of block P and acceleration. When the block B reaches one of the extreme position, the magnitude of acceleration is maximum, which is equal to omega square root A, where A is the amplitude of oscillations. It is same for both the blocks. Small m is the mass of each block. Total mass of the combined body you can write mass of P plus mass of Q. Mass of P is small m, mass of Q is also small m. So total mass is 2 into small m. So if you substitute here, mass of P is equal to small m, omega square you can write k by 2 small m. So static friction force acting on the block P at one of the extreme positions is Ka by 2. So that's the answer for the given question. But of course, if you want to find the condition, so block P does not slip on Q if the static friction does not reach the limiting value, less than the limiting value. The static friction is in general less than or equal to us into n. F plus you can write K by 2 at one of the extreme position. Normal reaction the block P by block Q can write mg. That means US mg should be greater than K by 2. And US should be greater than K by 2 mg. Of course, all this calculation is not needed to answer the given question. But I have done this calculation in case you are asked to find the condition. for what should be the coefficient of friction between the two blocks so that the block P does not slip on block Q. In that case, this additional working is required. If you want to copy the working, you can take a pause and copy the working. So for question number 42, third option is the answer. See the question number 43. Pendulum has period T for small oscillations. An obstacle P is situated below the point of suspension at a distance 3l/4. Of course, you understood that a small l is the length of the original pendulum. The pendulum is released from rest. Throughout the motion, the moving string makes small angle with the vertical. The time after which the pendulum returns to initial position. The time period for original simple pendulum is denoted by T. That is 2.√L/. So if an obstacle is placed at the distance 3l/4 below the point of suspension, then after the bob reaches the point lowest position, only the part of the string below this point P will be able to oscillate, swing further. So the length of the remaining part of the string below the point P or below the obstacle P will be L minus 3l/4, that is L/4. So time period for length L/4 are denoted by T1. 2.√L/4 divided by G. You can write in terms of original time period. That is T/√4 or T1 can be written as T/2. So T the time period of small oscillation simple pendulum for length L. T1 is the time period of small oscillation for length L/4. So once the bob of the pendulum reaches the lowest position, only the lower part of the string below the obstacle will be able to swing or oscillate further. So time taken by the bob to move from one of the extreme position to the mean position is 1/4 of the time period. So time taken to move from lowest position or mean position to the other extreme position is 1/4 of the time period for length L/4. So time taken to return to the initial position, that is new effect period of oscillations, is equal to first it takes a time equal to 1/4 of the original time period to reach the lowest position. Then time taken from lowest position to the other extreme position, 1/4 of the time period for the length L/4. Again, it takes same time T1/4 to travel back from other extreme position to the mean position. Then time taken to move from mean position to the original position back will be T/4. So that will be T plus T1/2. So you can write T1 equal to T/2. So you can simplify it further, you get the answer as 3T/4. That's the answer. If you want to copy the solution, take a pause and copy the solution. I'll continue next class.